Yes, hello, my name is Medea Benjamin. I am the co-founder of a peace group called Code Pink and a human rights organization, Global Exchange, and one of the members of the steering committee of the Gaza Freedom March. And we're here this morning to talk about this very historic march that will take place on December 31st. A little background about this. My organization, Code Pink, has taken several delegations to Gaza since the invasion by Israel on December 27th of last year. It's very difficult to get into Gaza, very, very hard to get in through the Israeli side, oftentimes through the Egypt side you can't get in either. And we managed to get in, and like others who have gone in, pretty overwhelmed by the level of destruction, and felt it was important for more people to see this. And then especially in light of the fact that it's the one-year anniversary of the invasion, that the world community, through our elected officials, has done nothing to hold Israel accountable, that the report by Judge Goldstone has had no echo in terms of follow-up, and the fact that Gaza remains under siege, a humanitarian disaster. We thought it was important as the global community to come together and mark the anniversary and call on Israel to lift the siege of Gaza. When we put out this call, we thought perhaps a few hundred people would decide to participate. Not only is it a difficult time of year for people, holiday time for many people who want to spend the time with their families, but the uncertainty of whether or not you can even get into Gaza, and then going into what is a war-torn country that can be very dangerous. To our surprise, people kept applying and applying and applying, and suddenly we found ourselves at the deadline that we had set, November 30th, with over 1,300 people from around the world who have signed up to participate in this Gaza Freedom March. We had to cut it off, and every day we get at least about 20 more people begging us to add them to the list, which we say we just can't handle any more people, plus we have submitted those names to the Egyptian government. The kind of people who are coming are quite incredible. We have participants from 43 countries, majority coming from the United States. After that, Europe, a large contingent coming from Canada. But we have groups of people who are coming from Greece, from Australia, from Indonesia, from all over the world. In fact, many of them are professionals. We have 2 judges coming from South Africa. We have members of parliament from France, from the Philippines, from Indonesia. We have a whole group of doctors that are coming, a group of lawyers. There are about 100 students from around the world who will be joining on this. We have people in their 70s and 80s. Quite a large portion of the people are of Jewish descent. One is an 85-year-old Holocaust survivor, Hetty Abdeen, who lives in St. Louis, Missouri. We have well-known figures like the writer Alice Walker. We are quite an interesting and diverse group, and everyone has a special story about why they're going. I would say that for most people, the invasion of Gaza was a shock. It was a watershed moment for them, and when this opportunity arose, they felt like this is the place that they wanted to be to mark the new year. Some of the participants are families. Michael Ratner, who will be speaking, is going with his wife and 2 children. We have 3 generations of families going. We have 3 brothers going. We have Israeli-American who is joining us on the Gaza side, while his sister, who lives in Israel, is joining us from the Israeli side. While we will be marching from the northern point of Gaza, it's a 3-mile march to the Erez crossing. And as we are doing that, there will be groups of people from the Israeli side that will be marching to the border, the Erez crossing from Israel as well. We are doing this in the spirit of Martin Luther King, of Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, of nonviolent resistance worldwide. We have a code of conduct that every participant has signed. It is also a code of conduct that has been translated into many languages for the different groups. And everybody is committed to nonviolence. We have monitors that will make sure that the march is nonviolent. We also have an amazing group of people inside Gaza who are organizing this, and it is coming from civil society in Gaza. The coalition that's come together, I think, has never come together before. It includes students and university professors, members of union groups, business people. It includes people from refugee communities, women's organizations, journalists. They have been working nonstop for several months now to pull this together. They expect that there will be 50,000 Palestinians joining with us on the march. They're also putting together a concert the evening before that is being organized by the youth and includes a lot of the hip-hop bands in Gaza. So this is an exciting time for them. What they have been telling us is that they feel like the world has turned its back on Gaza since nothing has been done since the invasion in terms of holding Israel accountable or even in terms of easing the blockade and allowing Gaza to rebuild by letting in building materials. But the fact that so many people from around the world are coming really gives heart and inspiration to the people in Gaza that they have not been forgotten. So these are the basics of the Gaza Freedom March, and I would like to turn now to Michael Ratner, who is the president of the Center for Constitutional Rights, who, as I said, will be joining us with his family.
I want to say when I first saw that Medea and Code Pink put out a call for a Gaza Freedom March, I didn't really know what to make of it or how many people would actually come on it. As usual with Code Pink, they're out in front and they take risks. And we've seen an amazing outpouring of people who want to go on the Gaza Freedom March. As Medea mentioned, 42 countries, 1,300 people, and scores, if not hundreds, probably thousands more would be willing to go if they could get the logistics in place, if they could afford it, and if they could figure it out. And I asked myself, what's going on here? And I think we have to recognize that the importance of the Gaza Freedom March as a way of drawing attention to the blockade is crucial, but what's really changed here is the world's understanding of what's now happening in the occupied territories, in the West Bank, in Gaza, and in East Jerusalem. I think that you're seeing a dramatic shift in both world opinion, and opinion of people on the streets, an opinion in the United States, an opinion in the Jewish community in the United States. And when I look at my own example, it's exactly that. For a long time, I understood what was happening in the occupied territories, but I was essentially an armchair activist about it. And this time, once Operation Cast Lead happened, and while it was going on, the assault on Gaza, and once the Goldstone report came out, I have to say, I think that in the life of human rights in the occupied territories, there's before Operation Cast Lead and before the Goldstone report, and then there's after Operation Cast Lead and after the Goldstone report. And I think that divide is gigantic. I think it's a recognition that Israel can no longer hide under the idea that it somehow is exceptional, that it can create and engage in gross violations of internationally recognized human rights and do so with impunity. It can't continue to impose collective punishment on the people of Gaza. It can't deliberately attack civilians. It can't deliberately attack civilian objects, whether it's the flour mill in Gaza or the Palestinian Legislative Assembly. I think what we see now is a major shift going on both in the United States and around the world. And I say it really, in many ways, I say it part as a human rights lawyer, part as an American whose tax money is supporting $3 billion a year or more, supporting Israel and its weaponry, and part as a Jew. And as a Jewish person, I refuse and have refused for a long time, but I actively refuse to have Israel speak in my name. What Israel did in Gaza, what it has done in the West Bank, what it's doing in East Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, are violations of the most fundamental tenets of international law that they ought to abide by. And I think the Goldstone report really, really verifies it. And what we're going to, we're going really, and my children said to me this year, they said, you know, we're tired, they're 19 and 21, we're not taking vacations anymore with you. And the only way we'll do something with you if you get yourself politically active on this issue. What's going on here is an outrage. And I said to them, yes, and Code Pink was there, and yes, we're going to do that. So as I wrote in a piece recently, I said I'm going to Gaza with Code Pink because truth, and we all know the truth of what happened in Gaza, truth needs a push. It's straightforward. I want to break the blockade. I want to see for myself the damage caused by the weapons bought with my tax dollars, and I want it understood that Israel does not kill in my name. I want to follow words with action, and that's why we and my family are going to Gaza.
Well, I think that there are a number of things. Number one, the people that go on these marches, they come back as changed people. All right? Now, some of them have been to the Middle East, some of them have been to parts of Palestine before, or Israel, but many of them have not. So that will, these people will come back and help build up the movement in their respective countries with much more information and a sense of energy that they will get out of this march. So that's one thing. A second thing is that we hope that there will be sufficient media coverage of this march so that people around the world will know that there are people who are following up on Mia Farrow's statement that the conscience of people are shocked by what happened in Gaza. And the third thing is we want the Palestinians to know that they're not standing alone. I think one of the serious problems has been is that many of them feel like they've been abandoned and that they've been forgotten because there has not been the attention given to them and they've been cut off, isolated, and we want to show them that they are not, that there are people in many countries in the world who are standing with them and will travel there to march with them to the border to say, end the blockade. That's what the purpose of this is.